My name is Carrie Radcliffe, and I'm the Restoration and Safeguarding Coordinator at Atlanta Botanical Garden. Our Conservation and Research Department has been going strong for about 10 years, but 30 years ago, our early conservation horticulture program developed around some of the rarest species in the southeastern U.S., including Florida Torreya, also known as Torreya taxifolia. This is one of the rarest conifers on the planet, and in its native range, it's affected by a fungal disease that was just recently classified as being new to science. A conifer is a plant that produces a cone instead of a flower, and many of them are evergreen. So if you look at the foliage of these, it looks almost like a hemlock or a yew or something like that. This tree is actually in the yew family, and the cones it produces look almost like a large avocado seed wrapped in a green fleshy material. So one of the reasons why we safeguard these plants in living collections in our botanical garden nursery and in state parks in North Georgia is because their seeds cannot be stored by conventional methods. They become inviable very quickly and then cannot ever be grown. So by safeguarding living plants, we ensure that they'll remain here. Many of these plants were propagated by cuttings from wild trees, and that means that the wild trees had pieces of the branches cut, and those were brought back to our botanical garden where they were put in a greenhouse and encouraged to grow roots and form entirely new trees that are genetically identical to the trees in the wild from which they were taken. These trees can be male or female, so only the females can produce cones and seeds, but we use those seeds for further research and reintroduction projects. In the mid-1990s, a group called the Georgia Plant Conservation Alliance formed. This group is made up of state and federal agency partners, such as the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, including Georgia State Parks, the Forest Service, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and our many botanical garden partners, including the State Botanical Garden of Georgia and Atlanta Botanical Garden. Our group was formed in order to prioritize and plan projects that directly benefit rare plant species in the state of Georgia. Torreya taxifolia has been one of the Georgia Plant Conservation Alliance's top priorities since its inception over 20 years ago. And we continue to plan and prioritize working with this species both in and outside of its native range in order to ensure that it doesn't go extinct. Here at Smithgall Woods, we're safeguarding this species just in case it goes extinct in its native range because of the fungal disease that's affecting it. We also safeguard these plants at Vogel State Park and the Georgia Mountain Research and Experiment Station over in Blairsville.